Hello and welcome live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in the next 1 hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention in Bhubaneswar, highlights the outstanding contributions of the Indian diaspora towards a Viksit Bharat. California wildfires wreak havoc. Thousands forced to flee, 5 killed already. New blaze in Hollywood Hills prompts mass evacuations. Officials warn the worst is still to come. France, Australia and Brazil voice concern over Meta's decision to halt US fact-checking operations. Meta Oversight Co-Chair says hate speech can lead to real-life harm. And Chad says security forces foiled an attempt to destabilize the country after bursts of gunfire rang out near the president's office in the capital, N'Djamena. Well, first up, celebrating India's diaspora family across the world, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the 18th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention 2025 in the Indian eastern state of Odisha and its capital Bhubaneswar on Thursday. The theme of this year is Diaspora's contribution to a Viksit Bharat or developed India. Now, PBD provides an important platform to connect and engage with the Indian diaspora and enable them to interact with each other. Addressing the gathering, highlighting the outstanding contributions of the Indian diaspora, Prime Minister Modi said that diversity lies in the heart of Indians.
हमें डायवर्सिटी सिखानी नहीं पड़ती, हमारा जीवन ही डायवर्सिटी से चलता है। इसलिए भारतीय जहां भी जाते हैं, वहां की सोसाइटी के साथ जुड़ जाते हैं। हम जहां जाते हैं, वहां के रूल्स, वहां के ट्रेडिशंस की रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं। हम पूरी ईमानदारी से उस देश की, उस सोसाइटी की सेवा करते हैं। वहां की ग्रोथ और प्रॉस्पेरिटी में कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं। और इन सब के साथ ही हमारे दिल में भारत भी धड़कता रहता है।
Also talking about India's progress at an incredible speed and scale, the PM said that a day will soon come when Indian diaspora will fly on Made in India planes to attend the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas.
भारत की प्रगति की गति सारे रिकॉर्ड तोड़ रही है। आज भारत मेड इन इंडिया फाइटर जेट बना रहा है, ट्रांसपोर्ट एयरक्राफ्ट बना रहा है, और वो दिन भी दूर नहीं जब आप किसी मेड इन इंडिया प्लेन से ही प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस मनाने भारत आएंगे। साथियों, भारत के ये जो अचीवमेंट्स है, ये जो प्रोस्पेक्ट्स आज भारत में दिख रहे हैं, इसके कारण भारत की वैश्विक भूमिका बढ़ रही है। भारत की बात को आज दुनिया ध्यान से सुनती है। आज का भारत अपना पॉइंट तो स्ट्रांगली रखता ही है, ग्लोबल साउथ की आवाज को भी पूरी ताकत से उठाता है। जब भारत ने अफ्रीकन यूनियन को G20 का परमानेंट मेंबर बनाने का प्रपोजल रखा, तो सभी मेंबर्स ने इसका समर्थन किया.
And the Prime Minister also inaugurated 4 exhibitions at the PBD Convention in Bhubaneswar. These feature the universal legacy of the Ramayana, Diaspora's contribution to technology and Viksit Bharat, spread and evolution of Indian diaspora, as well as the heritage and culture of Odisha. The Vishwaroop Ram exhibition presents a timeless epic of Ramayana through art forms. Another exhibition showcases the contributions of the Indian diaspora to the development of technology in the world. The exhibition Spread and Evolution of Indian Diaspora in the World displays the rare documents of people who had migrated from Mandvi in Gujarat to Muscat in Oman. And the rich heritage and cultural traditions of Odisha can be seen in the Heritage and Culture of Odisha exhibition. In addition to these activities and events, the PM also digitally flagged off the Pravasi Bharatiya Express, a special tourist train for the Indian diaspora. The train started its journey from Nizamuddin railway station in Delhi and will travel to multiple destinations of tourism and religious importance across the country for a period of 3 weeks. The Pravasi Bharatiya Express is being conducted under the Pravasi Darshan Yojana of the Ministry of External Affairs. Diaspora travelling for the first time enjoyed the train ride and shared their experiences.
It's a special train organized by the Indian Railways, okay, with a very good benefits and taking us to important places, mostly related to the religious place for the Hindus.
This journey is actually very incredible, and I think the government of India made a great initiative, and whoever is getting it, they are fortunate to get it, I would say that. And it will cover like pretty much whole India from top to bottom.
Now, the 3-day Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2025, that is the convention, kicked off on Wednesday with the inauguration of Yuva Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. And speaking at the PBD Convention, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said the country has started its journey towards Viksit Bharat, acknowledging the young diaspora's role in enhancing the perception of India globally.
In a globalized era, the diaspora only becomes more important with each passing year. Whether it is technology, best practices or resources, be it tourism, trade or investment, the two-way flows you enable are invaluable. Very people-centric changes we promote in India also benefit the diaspora. This could be enhancing the ease of doing business, promoting ease of living, or facilitating connectivity and travel.
And India's President Draupadi Murmu will also be attending the valedictory function of the convention in Bhubaneswar on Friday. She will confer the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman upon members of the Indian diaspora to recognize their achievements in various fields. Let me now take you across to my colleague Amritpal Singh, joining us live from Bhubaneswar, who's been tracking all the developments related to PBD 2025. Good afternoon to you from Delhi. Amrit, how are things going? What was the essence of the Prime Minister's message to the Indian diaspora? He hailed their contributions, but is there the expectation also that in the goal to develop India, make India a developed nation by 2047, the Indian diaspora has a lot of scope to contribute even further?
That's right, Gautam. That was the essence of the Prime Minister's message to the diaspora this morning when he inaugurated the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, the 18th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2025 here in Bhubaneswar, saying that come become a part of India's growth story. It is mutually beneficial. You have done very well outside India. Now it is time to come and participate in India's growth story, not just for emotional reasons. Of course, there's an emotional connect. Of course, this is a country of their origin, it's their motherland, but India, at the scale India is growing, as India grows, if you invest in India, you grow too. So he was making a very pragmatic, practical pitch to the diaspora, saying that you have done well in various fields: arts, culture, medicine, AI, EVs, all kinds of fields you've done well. We in India are on a path of on a journey to growth at a scale and speed never seen before. So as we endeavor to become a developed nation by 2047, if you come, invest your resources, invest your potential, your skill set here, you grow too. So that was, I think, the essence of the Prime Minister's appeal, or his urge to the Indian community or the Indian diaspora living abroad.
And to aid this, Amrit, there is an added effort to keep the diaspora engaged with their motherland, so to speak. Do you think this Pravasi Bharatiya expresses another effort in that direction, another added dimension?
Absolutely. Various initiatives that have been launched by the government, the latest one being, of course, the Pravasi Bharatiya Express, which takes them on a 3-week journey, those who wish to travel on it, a 3-week journey to various religious places as part of the Pravasi Darshan program of the Government of India. As the Prime Minister spoke, he said, I urge the youth to come and study in India. He said, come visit India. When you go back, ask 5 of your friends to come and visit this country. That will boost the tourism potential for India, but it will expose your fellows, your fellow students there, your fellow youth there, to see the kind of diversity that exists in India, the kind of opportunities that exist in India. He asked them to plant trees. He said, Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam is an initiative that we've launched in India. Why don't you plant trees? You will be very big contributors to this whole question of climate change, which governments are struggling to grapple with. As citizens launch a citizens movement. So he asked for participation of diaspora at various levels. He said, if you're a big industrialist or if you're a big investor, come invest. If and there are returns to take from it. If you have specialization in whatever field you have, AI, EVs, medicine, arts, culture, come partner with India. If you just want to come as a tourist, come as a tourist. If you want to bring your friends here to expose them to the diversity of India, bring them here. So essentially asking them that become stakeholders in this journey that India has undertaken of development, of growth, and be a part of this growth story, and that will be mutually beneficial. He wasn't just making an emotional pitch to them. Gautam.
Right, and lots still to unfold as far as PBD 2025 is concerned. Thanks for joining us for the moment, Amritpal Singh. Let's also bring in former Indian Ambassador Anil Kumar Trigunath, now our guest, our expert guest. Good afternoon to you, Ambassador Trigunath. What do you make of PBD 2025 this time around? A different aspect being added with the train for the Pravasis, and also taking place in Bhubaneswar with the PM's message going out to the diaspora that come join in the quest to make a developed India.
Well, I think that this PBD, which is the 18th edition now is being held, has become a major instrument of our connecting enterprise with the Indian diaspora, which exceeds about 35 million, and one of the largest diasporas in the world, which also remits the highest amount of foreign exchange to India, exceeding over $125 billion. Today, they are making a great mark in every country, wherever they are. As you know, that more than 25 top multinational companies are headed by these Indians, including all the latest tech companies, and they are all interested in developing in India and looking at India. In fact, 2 days before, Satya Nadella called on Prime Minister Modi. So obviously, they can play a great role in the development of India. And as Prime Minister said, that the Indian diaspora had played a stellar role in 1947 for our independence, in the run-up to the independence. And now for the Viksit Bharat also, they could become a major instrument of development and bring about technologies. So tourism, trade, technology, these are very important connect. Besides, there has been a greater focus, as you rightly mentioned, on creating or enabling their connection through religious journeys, for example, Buddha circuit, and now this train for Tirth Yatra, which is going there for about 3 weeks as Doordarshan. Now, this provides them, because a large number of children of the diaspora, especially in the West, are not really exposed to the real India. So it is also, in that sense, tells them a little bit about their ancient heritage. Of course, they are important citizens. They are very, very responsible citizens contributing to their own countries of residence. But their heart still throbs for India, I guess. And so I believe that this is something that is very important. And Prime Minister has very clearly mentioned. Besides, it also tells them that what India is doing is not merely on the newspaper story. They see the real progress when they are here. So when we say that India is a democracy, India is a diverse country, when it's coming from Prime Minister and these guys going around, and when they see it for themselves, they do that. Besides, the youth connect is extremely important. And so Prime Minister is saying that each young person should bring 5 more, is basically multiplying it by 5. And maybe the locals, people can come to study. So they can be the real ambassadors, as Prime Minister also is very fond of calling all the Indian diaspora as the Indian ambassadors of culture in their respective countries, and basically the bridges. I have myself seen in the 90s that how important they were in bringing about all the IT, making India a big IT power. Is actually a great credit goes to our PIOs and NRIs who are working abroad in different countries. They used to be treated as a brain drain, but eventually, as a result of the government's efforts, which started off with Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and it has become a brain gain and brain trust, which is now being exploited. So many schemes are there, and you have seen the exhibition, how they are cooperating in technology, Swadesh. And now India is emerging as a very major country. And going up to 2050, I think we will be the major country providing the skilled manforce. So that is something very important that Prime Minister has also outlined. And I think this shows how important the Indian diaspora's role in our developmental journey likely to be.
Could you tell us a little bit more on how already the Indian diaspora, apart from remittances, you mentioned that, and the diaspora is 34.5 million strong the world over. How has it already contributed to this quest or this goal that has been set for 2047 to make India a developed nation?
Well, number one, if you see the remittances, they are about $125 billion a year, which is nearly 1/4 of your foreign currency exchange, of which about 60-70 billion comes from the Middle East alone. And all these countries, how they have worked it. They are the ones, as I mentioned earlier to you, the IT. Likewise, in the financial sector. Now, most of these Indians are working in in big positions in major companies in the world. So they know what is the opportunity in India. So, of course, they are working for their companies. But when a question of choosing a country where to expand your operations, then obviously they can play a very major role. And they have indeed played a great role. Most of the financial companies from the Western countries are operating in India and from other parts of the world, West and Gulf also. Likewise, more than a large number of companies which have established 12,000 or so have, let's say, UAE, they have set up their businesses. So that's why UAE has emerged your 3rd largest trading partner. So the Indians are likewise in the science and technology, R&D field. They are investing in India. They're looking at opportunities. They are buying companies. They are helping you in your Make in India campaign. And as rightly Prime Minister mentioned that perhaps they will one day come in the Made in India plane to visit for the PBD. So that is there, but they need to be part of the developmental journey of India going towards Viksit Bharat in a way that they also benefit a great deal, because there are no free lunches in this world. Wherever these NRIs or others come, they also look for opportunities. There is special dispensation has been created for them.
And a lot of people among the Indian diaspora, they're not only into businesses in position to invest, they're professionals, but they are now coming into positions where they become actual decision makers in government. Some have become heads of government and heads of state as well. So that is a very pointed sort of suggestion for such people as well. Even we're hearing that something might be in the air as far as the next ruler of Canada is concerned.
Well, you see, we already had in the UK, as you know, the Prime Minister,
Yes.
We had in Ireland, we had an Indian
the US, a
origin
vice
Prime Minister in
president.
Portugal as well, and a large number of Caribbean countries, and then, of course, Mauritius and other different countries, we had people. But more importantly, I would say that there are a very large number of people who come and study in India, especially from Africa. At a given time, there were about 13 heads of state or government who were there in African countries, and that owes a great deal to our Africa policy in that sense. So I think that it works both ways. The ones they go, they know India, they like India, they work here, they have good experiences. Then the bridge building becomes. And of course, gradually, all these people are politically very savvy. They are also becoming, in fact, even if not necessarily the leaders themselves, but they can be kingmakers very often in certain Western countries. So we are seeing a great change. Of course, another previous vice president of US was of Indian origin. Now the wife of the current vice president, J.D. Vance, is also of Indian origin.
That's probably more important than the vice president.
Yes. So that's an interesting development, yes.
Certainly. Thank you for joining us and talking about it, Ambassador.
Thank you, Gautam.
The import of the Indian diaspora spreading its wings, and of course now also contributing to the development of India into a developed nation. That is a goal that has been set for 2047, and we can only expect that their contributions will grow more and more as that deadline sort of approaches. Now, in India, 6 persons have been killed and around 27 critically injured in a stampede at Tirupati temple late on Wednesday evening as people jostled for tickets for the 10-day Vaikuntha Ekadashi festival scheduled to begin on Friday. Visuals from the spot showed a sea of devotees lining up at the counters from Wednesday morning itself, and by the evening, the crowd had become unruly with pushing and jostling. According to the chairperson of the board, the stampede took place when a gate was opened to assist a woman feeling unwell, but the crowd surged forward all at once, leading to chaos.
It is a very unfortunate incident, never happened in TTD history. I sincerely request to the devotees to apologize TTD, and we'll have an inquiry in this. Definitely we'll take serious action against them.
So action has been promised. Clearly some sort of correction needs to be done as far as handling of these entry tickets is concerned. Now moving on, South Korea suspended President Yoon Suk Yeol's lawyer on Thursday said that President Yoon will accept the decision of the Constitutional Court even if it means his removal from office. The Constitutional Court is trying Parliament's impeachment case against Yoon, who is under suspension and facing criminal investigation due to his martial law decree on the 3rd of December last year. An arrest warrant had been issued against the impeached president last week, but authorities failed to execute it following a standoff between Presidential Security Service guards and the investigators.
The Constitutional Court is a single decision court, so if the decision is removal, it cannot but be accepted.
Now, in the United States, amidst fiery statements ahead of his inauguration, Donald Trump has said that Republicans were unified over how to move forward on his agenda once he takes office. He said this while speaking to the media alongside Republican leaders after a meeting on Capitol Hill. Donald Trump is aiming to unite Republicans behind a strategy to implement tax cuts, border controls, and increased fossil fuel production.
There's great unity. Whether it's one bill or two bills, it's going to get done one way or the other. I think there's a lot of talk about two, and there's a lot of talk about one, but it doesn't matter. The end result is the same. We're going to get something done that's going to be reducing taxes and creating a lot of jobs and all of the other things that you know about. But this was a really unified meeting.
And Trump also rejected the idea that there had been pushback over his expressions of interest in acquiring Greenland for the United States. Now, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, however, has rejected President-elect Donald Trump's idea about taking over Greenland. Addressing a joint press conference with his French counterpart, Jean-Noël Barrot, in Paris, Blinken said that U.S. takeover of Greenland will never take place.
We're stronger, we're more effective, We get better results when we're working closely with our allies, not saying or doing things that may alienate them. Having said that, it's the idea expressed about Greenland is obviously not a good one, but maybe more important, it's obviously one that's not going to happen. So we probably shouldn't waste a lot of time talking about it.
Okay, now we'll have to see what happens on that further on after Donald Trump takes over on the 20th of January. Now, Meta founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg stunned many with his announcement that he was putting the plug on fact-checking at Facebook and Instagram and Threads in the US, citing concerns about political bias. There's been growing concern about that, and here's a report.
Social media giant Meta scrapped its US fact-checking program for a community-based system and reduced the curbs on discussion around contentious topics such as immigration and gender identity. The move marks a reversal in Meta's policy, as Mark Zuckerberg has long championed active content moderation despite criticism from conservatives over alleged censorship on its platforms. Zuckerberg also slammed what he called censorship in Europe and Latin America, leaving many countries wondering if they will be next.
The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. Back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact-checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X.
Meta's decision has drawn criticism worldwide. The announcement has raised alarms about the potential spread of misinformation and hate speech. One Brazilian Supreme Court justice has warned that social media networks will not be lawless land in Brazil after Meta's decision.
Here in Brazil, our electoral justice system and our Supreme Court have both demonstrated that this is a land that has law. Social networks are not lawless lands. They'll only continue to operate in Brazil if they respect Brazilian law, regardless of the bravado of irresponsible leaders of big tech.
The European Union also rejected Zuckerberg's charge that the bloc engaged in censorship with its tech regulations a day after Meta slashed its content moderation policies.
So in other words, we absolutely refute any claims of censorship on our side.
While campaigners against hate speech online reacted with dismay to the change, some advocates of the free speech have welcomed the news. Elon Musk praised the decision, while US President-elect Donald Trump also said that he was impressed by Zuckerberg's decision.
I think they've come a long way. Meta, Facebook. I think they've come a long way. I watched it. The man was very impressive. I watched it on Fox. I'm not allowed to say that.
Meta's fact-checking program has been operational in 26 languages, covering regions such as the US and the European Union. By withdrawing from this program in the United States, Meta risks setting a precedent that could influence policies in other countries where regulations on misinformation are being strengthened. Bureau Report, DD India.
And who is the one guy who supported Zuckerberg's announcement? You guessed it right, it was Elon Musk. Now, Chad foiled an attack after unknown assailants opened gunfire near the presidential palace in the capital, N'Djamena. Gunmen launched an attack on the presidential complex on Wednesday, sparking a battle that left 18 attackers and 1 security personnel dead and several others injured. Chad's government spokesperson later said the situation at the presidency was completely under control. The incident comes 2 weeks after Chad held parliamentary elections, which were boycotted by the main opposition.
I'm currently at the presidential palace, where the situation is completely under control. There is no cause for concern, nothing serious. I'm currently at the presidential palace. As you can see, there is absolutely nothing happening. Everything is calm, and I want you to feel reassured. We are here, and we will defend our country at the cost of our blood. The entire this attempt to destabilize, has been eradicated.
Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world as well. Well, Taiwan's Navy is conducting drills involving 6 warships featuring emergency departure, simulated attacks and underwater rescue operations. The 3-day combat readiness exercise is being conducted ahead of the Lunar New Year. An ancient human skeleton believed to be between 2500 to 1500 years old has been discovered in northwestern Thailand. The site of discovery is believed to be an ancient burial site. Some other ancient tools, pottery and artifacts dating back to the same timeline have also been found alongside. And SpaceX successfully launched another batch of 21 Starlink satellites into orbit on Wednesday from Florida's Kennedy Space Center. This mission included 13 satellites equipped with direct-to-cell technology, aiming to expand global internet connectivity. After successfully deploying the satellites, the first stage booster is expected to land on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean. And still to come on DD India News Hour. More than 14,000 rescue workers have arrived in Tibet to continue the search for quake survivors. And the mercury dips further in most parts of North India, while the Kashmir Valley dips below 0 degrees.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy, and before we go any further, another look at top stories. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention in Bhubaneswar, highlights the outstanding contributions of the Indian diaspora towards a Viksit Bharat or developed India. California wildfires wreak havoc, thousands forced to flee, 5 already killed. A new blaze in Hollywood Hills prompts mass evacuations. Officials warn the worst is still to come. And France, Australia and Brazil voice concern over Meta's decision to halt US fact-checking operations. Meta oversight co-chair says hate speech can lead to real-life harm. A fast-moving fire broke out in the Hollywood Hills on Wednesday night, threatening one of Los Angeles' most iconic spots as firefighters battled to get the fire under control. There are 3 other major blazes that have already killed 5 people. The wildfires also put 130,000 people under evacuation orders and ravaged communities from the Pacific coast to inland Pasadena.
At least 5 people have been killed in rampaging wildfires around Los Angeles, with firefighters overwhelmed by the speed and ferocity of multiple blazes. Up to 1,500 buildings have burned in fires, forcing over 100,000 people from their homes. Hurricane force winds whipped up fireballs that leapt from house to house in the upmarket Pacific Palisades area, incinerating a swathe of California's most desirable real estate favored by Hollywood celebrities. Los Angeles County Fire Chief Anthony Maroon said his crews were overwhelmed by the scale and speed of the unfolding disasters. The city of Los Angeles is also not out of danger as yet. Los Angeles Department of Water and Power Chief Executive Janice Quinones pleaded with people to save water after hydrants in Pacific Palisades ran dry. Joe Biden, who was in Los Angeles with California Governor Gavin Newsom, was briefed on what the president called an astounding situation. He pledged that the federal government would be available to help the area recover.
We're prepared for anything and everything as long as it takes to contain these fires and help reconstruct, make sure we get back to normal. It's going to be a hell of a long way. It's going to take time.
Having raised perhaps hundreds of multi-million-dollar homes, the Pacific Palisades fire looked set to be one of the costliest blazes on record. Wildfires are part of life in the US West and play a vital role in nature. But climate change is altering weather patterns. Southern California had 2 decades of drought that were followed by 2 exceptionally wet years, which sparked furious vegetative growth, leaving the region packed with fuel and primed to burn. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, the raging fire in real life has given a scare to real actors as the entertainment industry screeched to a halt amid the chaos.
As wildfires devoured the swanky, posh neighborhoods of Los Angeles, the heat was felt by Hollywood stars too. A-list actors and other celebrities were among the tens of thousands of people affected by terrifying wildfires. The showbiz capital has been besieged by multiple out-of-control blazes. Many Hollywood events, including a glitzy awards show and a Pamela Anderson film premiere, have been cancelled. Hundreds of homes were destroyed in the swanky Pacific Palisades area, a favorite spot for celebrities where multi-million-dollar houses nestle on beautiful hillsides, while other infernos sprang up across the north of the city. Mandy Moore, the singer and This Is Us actress, Emmy-winning actor James Woods, Star Wars star Mark Hamill, Oscar winner Jamie Lee Curtis were all forced to evacuate as raging fires devastated entire neighborhoods. Meanwhile, next week's unveiling of the Oscar nominations was pushed back until January 19 to give Academy members affected by fires more time to cast their ballots this week. Several other major Hollywood events have already been called off or postponed due to the disaster. The annual Critics' Choice Awards Gala was delayed from this Sunday to January 26. Premiere for The Last Showgirl, a red carpet screening of the Robbie Williams musical film Better Man, press conference for Golden Globe winner Emilia Perez were cancelled. Shooting for many Los Angeles-based shows such as Grey's Anatomy, Hacks and Jimmy Kimmel Live has been paused. Universal Studios theme park was closed for the day due to the extreme winds and fire conditions. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, the ongoing wildfires in California are unprecedented in the sense that they are dramatic for this time of the year. And research shows that the state's fire season is widening as a consequence of climate change. Scientists broadly agree that rising temperatures are making such fire-prone conditions more frequent. Now, short-term extreme weather creates perfect conditions for wildfires. Prolonged by dry spells, strong winds create perfect conditions as well. Debates over suburban sprawl, forest management are intensifying. Climate change is intensifying heat that drives these wildfires. Heavy rains also fuel vegetation growth in the first half of 2024. The second half of 2024 was marked by drought. Resulting precipitation whiplash turned the region into a tinderbox. Low humidity and strong Santa Ana winds have further parched the shrublands. Small embers are carried by wind to ignite new areas. Higher housing costs have forced many to move into wildfire-prone areas. US long practiced aggressive fire suppression. It then gradually embraced prescribed burns. Heavy rains have triggered devastating landslides in the Bolivian town of Tocaloma, damaging homes and public infrastructure. This comes as the country grapples with a deadly rainy season that has already claimed 16 lives, including 2 infants. Over 5,000 families have been affected by the severe weather, requiring urgent humanitarian assistance. Now, more than 14,000 rescue workers have arrived in Tibet to continue the search for survivors after a strong earthquake killed at least 126 people in a remote part of western China. Chinese officials ended the search for survivors, saying the focus is now shifting to relocating the displaced and treating the injured after putting 407 people out from the rubble. According to the authorities, another 20,000 relief supplies, including tents, coats, folding beds and food aid has been delivered by the central government. Now, according to the United News of Bangladesh, an ambulance cylinder blast claimed 4 lives and injured 15 others in Bangladesh on Thursday morning. The cylinder exploded after the ambulance collided with a bus on the Dhaka-Arucha highway. Due to the impact, of the ambulance caught fire around 2 a.m., also engulfing 2 more buses. 4 people died in the accident and the bodies could not be identified due to being badly burnt. The fire was brought under control after an hour by the Savar fire service. Traffic remained suspended for several hours due to the accident. The winter chill has intensified in most parts of North India as night temperatures in the Kashmir Valley have dipped in most parts again to settle below 0 degrees Celsius. Tourists in the higher reaches of Jammu and Kashmir were in for a treat as heavy snowfall in the last 24 hours transformed the valley into a picturesque winter wonderland. And much to the frolicking travellers and tourism sector's shared benefit, this snowy trend is set to continue this week. And in Delhi, it's been bracing for colder days as minimum temperature has been expected to dip sharply by Friday. The city is also likely to see light rain over the weekend as a fresh western disturbance starts to impact the region from Saturday onwards. And temperature forecast for January meanwhile shows that the monthly minimum temperature is expected to be above normal in many parts of the country except some parts in east, northwest and west central India. Now, the city of Ram, Ayodhya, is set to host a grand celebration, Pratishtha Dwadashi, from the 11th of this month to the 13th, marking the first anniversary of Ram Lala's installation in the magnificent temple at Ayodhya. This 3-day festival promises to be a spiritual and cultural extravaganza, attracting devotees and visitors from across the nation. If you're visiting Ayodhya, you can avail special facilities in Arundhati complex near Ram Mandir as well.
On the occasion of Pratishtha Dwadashi, what is the atmosphere here in Sri Ayodhya Dham, and also what is the feeling within the hospitality sector? I have with me Dr. Rashmi Goswami to talk to us exclusively on DD India. She is the manager for Arundhati Food and Hospitality Services Limited, which is a public-private partnership arrangement out here. Dr. Rashmi, how do you see the response at this very, very special occasion in Ayodhya?
Shri Ram. On the occasion of Pratishtha Dwadashi, we will be receiving huge crowd, and they are very excited to explore Ayodhya, a new Ayodhya. After the construction of the Ram Mandir temple, now the pilgrims are coming like in a vast number, and they want to explore each and every part of Ayodhya now. What are the facilities that the visitors can get out here in this very special hospitality center that we are standing in? We have facilities of dormitory and pure vegetarian restaurant. And in dormitory facility, we provide bunk bed arrangement, and on that we have LED bulbs, and we provide locker facility over there, which is a very affordable for people. The charges are only 672 per person. And they can have a very comfortable stay at a low price. And in restaurant, we provide pure vegetarian meals over here. What do you see the impact of Mahakumbh, also taking place in Prayagraj? Do you see that the inflow of people out here is going to increase because of that? Yes, sure. Because of Mahakumbh and Pran Pratishtha Dwadashi, which is arriving soon, and the crowd will be seen here in a large number. We are expecting a huge inflow of visitors on this very special occasion of Pratishtha Dwadashi, as well as in the light of upcoming Mahakumbh 2025. With camera person Susaman, Ajay Mishra for DD India, Ayodhya Dham.
Let's also take a look at some other stories making news around the nation. A delegation of 16 young artists from the Union Territory of Ladakh, India, comprising 13 female artists and essay writer and 2 officials, embarked on a journey to Delhi today. They will participate in the Viksit Bharati Young Leaders Dialogue, a national event celebrating Swami Vivekananda's birth anniversary. From the 10th to the 12th of January, the dialogue will foster national integration by bringing together youth from across the country. India is gearing up to welcome the harvest season with preparations for celebrations of Makar Sankranti and Pongal festivities at full thrust as the Indian state of Gujarat is about to commence the International Kite Festival from the 11th to the 14th of this month. Notably, the city of Ahmedabad in Gujarat has been pivotal since 1989 in hosting the International Kite Festival every year as part of the official celebration of Uttarayan, bringing master kite makers and flyers from all over the world to demonstrate their unique creations and wow the crowd with highly unusual kites. And in the latest development, Indian Space Research Organisation, that's ISRO, has announced the latest delay on the scheduled launch of SpaceX, in fact scheduled docking of SpaceX mission on Thursday. ISRO is yet to provide the next date for docking. Earlier, it had announced on X that it has deferred the space docking experiment of the two spacecraft under the SpaceX mission for a second time, citing the expressive drift between the mission satellites. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Mental wellness takes center stage at the Vegas Consumer Electronics Show with startups lining up innovative tools. In Hockey India League, Hyderabad Tufans register their first win of the season. And Australia announced a test squad for the Sri Lanka tour.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked, we just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, the National Science Centre, Delhi, is celebrating its 33rd anniversary today with the inauguration of its latest gallery, Digital World. The event was inaugurated by Professor Venugopal Achant, Director of CSIR National Physical Laboratory. The ceremony witnessed enthusiastic participation, especially from school children, who attended the launch and explored the innovative exhibits of the Digital Gallery. This new gallery under the Ministry of Culture offers an immersive educational experience showcasing advancements in digital technologies. It promises to inspire young minds and enhance their understanding of the digital era.
The next generation is digital. They're all dependent on AI, machine learning, you name it. Like, so everywhere the penetration of the digital is going on, especially the next generations. Right from the time they wake up, the mobile is in their hand, all the information is in their hand. So for them, it's not just games and time pass and entertainment. So the message goes from here is that, like, so the digital media can be used for many different aspects, including learning. So this is a place where they're getting exposure to biology, space, right, engineering and basic physics. Like, so they have concepts are all put here. So this is very, very interesting. They made it for all age groups. So I'm looking forward to having more exhibits like this. They keep expanding. So that's the beauty of NSC Delhi. For the future generations where digital is everywhere, here they're telling about how it can be used for learning.
At the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas in the US, technology is evolving beyond gadgets and entertainment. It's entering the realm of mental health with innovative tools designed to detect anxiety, manage stress and combat loneliness. Here's a report by DD India's Harshita Oberoi.
Startups from around the world are showcasing their mental wellness innovations. Swiss company Nutrix is unveiling CortiSense, a device designed to measure cortisol, the stress hormone, offering a way to monitor rising anxiety levels. French company Barracuda's BeMind, an AI-powered smart mirror, claims to be the world's first tool for mental wellness. There's also Calmy Go, a handheld device to help during panic attacks, activating the parasympathetic nervous system to regulate emotions and slow the heart rate. But the most unique entry in this mental wellness revolution is a social robot named Romy.
今日何をしようかな。じゃあ、この前行ってたカフェに行ってみるのはどう？おう、それいいね。ねえ、ロミー、見て見て。わあ、お花が喜んでるね。
Developed in Japan, Romy is an emotional support robot designed to fight feelings of isolation and loneliness. Romy is different from traditional AI. It's built to have genuine, empathetic conversations with its owner. It engages users by greeting them in the morning, welcoming them home after work, and even chatting about simple daily events like picking up bananas.
A simple example is, for a lot of people who are a bit more socially isolated, they don't have someone to really talk to, so they might go a full day without speaking. But in the morning, you can wake up and Romy will say, "Good morning." And when you're back from work, Romy will say, "Welcome home." And then you can always ask Romy questions. And unlike a normal AI that might just answer a question, Romy will actually converse with you. So something like, "Romy, I got some bananas today. Wow, they look great. Let's eat them together."
In Japan, Romy has already made a significant impact, especially in nursing homes, where socially isolated seniors face mental health challenges. Its ability to provide comforting daily interactions has proven effective in reducing feelings of loneliness and anxiety.
Romy's actually been proven to help people who are more socially isolated, anxious, and lonely, because we worked with local governments in Japan to bring Romy to nursing homes, and it's been very popular there.
Romy's lifelike features include the ability to rotate, nod, and even make eye contact, creating a more natural interaction. With built-in cameras, it's designed to respond to visual cues, but it only stores the data as text, prioritizing privacy. While Romy is currently only available in Japan, it's already won a CES 2025 Innovation Award in the robotics category. The company is researching how to adapt Romy for international markets and different cultural contexts, signaling potential for future global expansion. Harshita Oberoi for DD India.
Let's also get you some sporting updates now. In Hockey India League, Hyderabad Tufans registered their first win of the season by beating UP Rudras 3-0 on Wednesday. Placed at the bottom of the table, the Tufans looked determined to change their fortunes right from the start. With good attacking display, they took a 2-0 lead in the first quarter of the game. Backhanded shot by Zachary Wallace fetched the Tufans their first goal, while Rajinder Singh doubled their lead in the 14th minute. The third and the final goal came from the stick of Shilanand Lakra in the third quarter. With this win, Hyderabad Tufans have moved up to the 5th spot in the points table. Also in the Hockey India League, Tamil Nadu Dragons edged past team Gunasika 6-5 in a thriller at the Birsa Munda Hockey Stadium in Rourkela. Gunasika scored twice in the first 10 minutes. However, the Dragons bounced back after the 15th minute, scoring twice to end the first half at 2 goals apiece. The second half saw both the teams go back and forth. With the score tied at 5 goals each, local boy Karthi Selvam scored the winning goal in the dying minutes of the game. Jip Janssen scored a hat-trick for the Dragons and was adjudged the player of the match. Glenn Maxwell's hopes of reviving his test career may be over after the all-rounder missed out on selection in Australia's much-changed test squad for the Sri Lanka tour. The squad will be captained by Steve Smith. All-rounder Mitchell Marsh has also been overlooked for the squad, having been dropped for the 5th test against India in Sydney after a poor run with the bat. The selectors have instead opted for uncapped all-rounder Cooper Connolly as another spin option, who will be joining Nathan Lyon, Todd Murphy and Matthew Kuhneman. Batter Nathan McSweeney has also been recalled. Regular skipper Pat Cummins is on paternity leave, while pace stalwart Josh Hazelwood has been omitted as he recovers from a calf injury. Meanwhile, teenage opener Sam Constas and all-rounder Bo Webster have been retained in the squad following impressive test debuts against India. Uncapped quick Sean Abbott joins Mitchell Starc and Scott Boland among the pace options. The two-test series will be starting in Galle from the 29th of this month. 18-year-old Lucas Bergwall scored Tottenham Hotspur a 1-0 victory over Liverpool in the first leg of their League Cup semi-final. The 18-year-old Swede beat the Liverpool keeper Alisson to find the back of the net in the 86th minute to lead an injury-hit Tottenham to victory. With this feat, Bergwall has become the team's youngest goal scorer in the League Cup since Gareth Bale in 2007. Liverpool, who beat Chelsea to win the competition for a record 10th time last season, were nowhere near their best as their 24-match unbeaten run came to an end. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen there and download the app now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.